Got a good question the other day about working out when you have a very labor-intensive job. Very important. Back in high school and college, all of my jobs were very labor-intensive, and I messed it up big time in a number of ways. But here's the big deal, is you have a lot more stress overall on your body than someone who has like a sedentary job who works out. So what's happening is you have more of what they call an allostatic load. Because your body doesn't essentially know the difference between physically working for an exercise or physically working for a job. It's all just piling on, creating the same thing. So in that light, you got to take things a little bit different. Number one, recovery is far more important. You got to pay more attention to it. So make sure you're getting lots of sleep. You don't want to be one of these guys who's bragging about, I can get by on 5 hours of sleep. You want to make it a very high priority. Two, eat plenty of food. Don't have very restrictive diets, both in quantity and in what you're trying to eat. The biggest mistake I made was I didn't eat nearly enough, and I had this idea that I had to eat super squeaky clean all the time. When you're more physically active, especially with a job, you have a lot more leeway, so you can eat a lot more, and you don't have to have a super perfect diet all the time. Have some pizza, cookies, more ice cream, things of that nature. You can withstand a little bit more of that compared to the person with the office job who is much more sedentary. Now with the workout side of things, things are a little bit different. For one is you want to try and make sure your workouts are really counting what you can do. So pare down your workouts as much as you can in both exercise selection and duration of volume. So usually what I find with people who have very labor-intensive job is fairly quick workouts, 15, 20 minutes, half an hour. These long sufferfests and stuff are gonna probably hold you back. So decrease the volume, but make sure the intensity is still there. So instead of like 5 hard sets, do 2 sets that are just as hard or even harder in most exercises. Speaking of exercises, keep it down to just the most basic stuff. You don't need 20 different types of push-ups. Just 1 or 2 basic push exercises, you're good. Same with pull, squat, and basic flexion and extension exercises. So you don't want to have a whole lot of just mindless stuff that you're doing in the gym. Bread and butter, meat and potatoes kind of stuff. Also make sure that your cardio isn't getting out of control. I wish back in high school and college what I did was hardly any cardio, because cardio really adds to that whole allostatic load. So have the minimum amount of cardio that you can get away with. You may not even need any, depending on what kind of job you're doing or what kind of physical labor that you have going on. You could probably get away with none at all. If you are doing cardio, quick, simple things like hill sprints, jumping rope, something, but again, it kind of depends on goals. All of this information, all this advice is kind of different for everybody. Listen to your body. If you're having trouble recover, spend more time in recovery, make sure you're getting plenty of food, and decrease the volume of your exercise. And if you're feeling like you can just put the pedal to the floor and keep going, well then do that as well. All right, questions below. Be fit, live free.